Hello and welcome to another episode of Masters of the Universe Origins. Previously I've looked at villains, so it is time for a heroic warrior to make their debut.
I think Mekaneck and Buzz-Off are available.
Let's take a look at Mekaneck, heroic Human Periscope.
Let's go get them.
You're new here, aren't you?
The figure was released in 1984 and had a club as his weapon, but the main feature is his extending neck.
For lunch! Yikes!
To spy on the evil enemy. His working name was Spyman, and that is mentioned in Michael Halperin's series Bible for Filmation Studios. In the classic animated series, Mekaneck only appeared in 3 episodes, out of which the last one, Search for a Son, briefly mentions in a flashback Mekaneck visiting Dragon Mountains with his son Philip.
Your talent for playing the flute is a blessing, son. Learn to use it well.
Maybe someday I'll be able to play for the pleasure of the king and queen, Father.
That's a noble wish, son. Perhaps it may come true someday.
Then a sudden storm rises.
I've never seen the wind blow up so fast.
And his son is swept with the wind. Mekaneck hurt his neck during the storm, but Man-at-Arms luckily came to his
That was when I found him. His neck was in bad shape, but I managed to give him a bionic neck. Being a grateful man, Mekaneck decided afterward to remain here and serve King Rand.
The episode is also the only time Mekaneck is mentioned to have a son. We don't know anything about the boy or the boy's mother and what happened to her. Another mystery is how does Mekaneck look under his helmet? Though in the German toy magazine, Mekaneck is described to be an astronaut that scouts the galaxy. And there happens to be one comic featuring Mekaneck fight space creatures, getting hit by a blast, and we see him remove the helmet. On another media, the minicomics sadly never touched upon Mekaneck's origin, and the next time we would see him came in the 2002 animated He-Man series by Mike Productions. On screen, we never hear him talk about his origin or learn about it. He is shown to be a very capable warrior in hand-to-hand combat, and hand-to-neck combat? But there is in fact some backstory to Mekaneck that was devised. Accordingly, Mekaneck was injured as a younger man in battle with Skeletor, and a battlefield humanoid robot with extending appendage named C2 was sent out to retrieve Mekaneck. However, the robot proved to be selfish and unwilling to risk injury himself. In the end, Mekaneck's commanding officer went to rescue him and brought him to Man-at-Arms, who dismantled the robot and saved Mekaneck's life by replacing Mekaneck's broken neck with parts from C2. From that setup, the Masters of the Universe Classics toy line has used in their bios the preface of Mekaneck getting injured in battle. Though in their telling, Mekaneck is rushed to Castle Grayskull by Man-at-Arms, and it is then healed by the Sorceress, by replacing his neck with ever-expanding mechanical construction made out of microscopic nanites. Classics also came up with a real name, Orius, for Mekaneck in their story. No mention of his son has come up, which may be due to not being able to use the Filmation concepts at the time the bio text was written. The most recent reboot on the world of Eternia and its characters comes in the DC Comics. There, we learn in the ongoing issue 4 that Mekaneck apparently had his neck-stretching ability already when he was just 6 years old. At this point, it's unclear if he was born with it or what is the explanation. I don't have a clue. Hopefully the comic may touch upon it later on. We will have to see. So, these were all the references I was able to find about Mekaneck and his origin story. If I missed anything, please let me know in the comments or via email. I'm your host Jukka, and I wish you good journey.